First time having some of the Black Beauty tomato. So good. So good, so good. So the camera. We got a new toy.
We got a tripod and we got a little microphone.
You're showing it in the mirror.
Yeah, that's how you can show it.
A professional smartphone video photography kit. Woohoo!
That's like the
so
microphone
hopefully
thing.
our YouTube videos are better and less all over the place. Caitlin just told me to go. Okay, anyway, we have spent, after I got done canning another batch of beans, I am now ready to process some sauce. I had 100 tomato plants this year, and the cherry tomatoes did fantastic and are way growing above our cattle panels, and then the other 2 rows are not growing so tall because they've been chomped off and chomped down by cabbage worms and grasshoppers. So my Roma on my beefsteak didn't fare as well. So I've had to save tomatoes. So here was some that I had frozen. When you can set some aside if you don't have enough to do a big batch. And so you core it and then you slice the bottom in like an X to put, and then put them in the freezer when you're ready to make sauce with them or whatever. And then the skins, when they're de-thawing, the skin will come off really easy. You can see the skin's coming off a little bit right there. And then you can just drain the water right off of that and then throw it in the batch with the rest of them. So I'm going to do things a little different this year. Last year was my first time making sauce from the garden. I've made salsa before with one of my grandmas, but I've never made sauce. So I am going to do things a little differently this year. I'm going to put the sauce in a crock pot and see how that goes to cook it down. So right here I have a scale over here. I'm going to do a recipe rather than just season it a little bit. I'm going to do a little more seasoning and add the brown sugar ahead of time to the sauce. So it's not just plain tomato sauce where you have to add everything later on. It's all ready and all you need to add is the meat or whatever you want to do with it. So we have 38 pounds of sauce. My recipe is 30 pounds. I'll drain some of this water off of this and I'm just going to roll with it. Anyways, all of this will end up making only 7 pounds. Well, if we have 38 pounds, maybe close to 8 pints of tomato sauce, which isn't a lot. So pray for the garden for us to get some more harvest so I can do more sauce and more salsa. We already have salsa done. I'll show you the process and what we're going to do, and we'll give you a step-by-step on how we're going to do it this year.
Here's a little overall view of all the tomatoes that we've got. We got our tomato juicer right here. And we'll show you that process.
Okay, so these are the tomatoes that were in the freezer. And this tomato skins will pop right off and slide right off. But we're going to end up running this through the sieve or the tomato press anyways. Okay, so these are the tomatoes that were in the freezer. You can do this if you want to make quick sauce and the tomato skins come right off, but I'm not going to worry about peeling all the tomato skins off because I'm going to be running all of my tomatoes after I warm them up for 5 to 10 minutes boiling. I'm going to be throwing them through so if I have any like easy to take off skins, I'll grab them real quick. But you can run the tomatoes raw through the tomato press, or you can get them warmed up and then they go through the tomato press much easier, and then it will take care of the seeds and the skins and everything. Look at the color. We got Paul Robeson, we have yellow ones, we have purple Cherokee, and then we have a bunch of Roma. And so you have it on medium high to high, and you keep adding tomatoes and crush it. So now heat it medium high to high, and you keep adding some of the tomatoes I already cut. Next year, I did not have, none of my yellows didn't turn out. I wanted to do sauce just with yellow tomatoes because yellow tomatoes are less acidic. It'd be better on some of our sensitive tummies. But anyways, if you're not worried about separation and accumulation of liquids, you could just throw them all in there all at once if you're not worried about it. But I'm just adding it slowly as it's getting hot. And then we'll throw it, I'll show you when we put it through the press. And
update, we've gotten quite a bit more done. Quite a bit more done.
yeah, I used large red cherries since I didn't have enough. So we're gonna have more cooking downtime, but I'm gonna do something different this time. I'm going to put everything in a crock pot or two per se, instead of cooking it on the stove for 24 hours slowly. So this is 10 quarts, and then I'm gonna throw it here. We're gonna throw it through the press, and then have it cooked down. And
we still have this many tomatoes.
Are these the older ones?
Yeah. We're gonna throw these ones probably in there or give them to the chickens, whichever mommy wants to decide to do. Okay, go.
So right now, this is the stuff that we had pre-prepped on the stove. I'm gonna take and pour it into the... It's much easier when I boil it for 10 minutes to run it through. Now, note to self, last year was my first time making sauce. I've only made salsa before in the past, however many years I've done salsa, but I've never done sauce. So, last year was my first time buying this tomato press, which works great. But note to self, since I do this process, since it's easier to run it through warm, next time if any of these pieces break, I will replace with stainless steel and not have plastic, since I'm running hot through there. This is the compost bucket. Or what you can do, if you want to, use every part of it. If we have chickens, we can feed them to the chickens, or it'll go in the compost. But what you can do is take the skins and lay all this flat out, lay this all flat out on the dehydrator, and then you can crush it and make like a seasoning. Run it through so you're not exerting so much pressure on it. Otherwise, we'd have to attach it to the table with that. If you're doing the raw tomatoes, the suction wouldn't hold.
Okay, so now we have the juice.
Now if you were just making tomato juice, you would just can this. I'm going to end up dumping both crock pots back into this pot.
After you're done?
After I'm done.
Perfect.
To do the seasoning, and then separate, so the seasoning is uniform throughout the whole, because I have the recipe I'm going to follow. And then I will separate it out and dump it back in the crock pots for a third, for sure. If you want a thinner sauce, a third. If you want thicker sauce, cook it down about a half.
More juice.
10-20, gonna put stuff in the crock pot. But this time, instead of just doing plain tomato sauce without any seasoning and yada yada, other than what, the lemon juice and the salt, I am going to add seasoning, since my sauce is always used as like spaghetti sauce. So I'm gonna add garlic, cloves, and everything. However, come over here and see, after we did everything, we have this. So after running it through the tomato press, we have this, and this.
I'm also making coffee.
Phone stopped recording, so
we're having technical difficulties.
Anyways, So this year I'm going to add the seasoning ahead of time, but I have so much in different containers, as I showed you. I'm going to put it all back in the big pot. We'll see how much will fit in there. I think it'll be right up here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add all my seasoning. It's gonna be, I'm gonna saute onion. We'll put the recipe up in the screen.
Yep.
What I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna saute onion, green pepper, and you can do mushrooms. I'm not doing mushrooms because other people in the family don't like mushrooms. And then add the minced garlic real quick for a minute, and then add that along with all the other ingredients into the pot with all your sauce, and then redistribute throughout the crock pots. I only have 2 crock pots, so I'm gonna have to cook it down some before I go to bed. But I'm not going to record the rest tonight. My helper, she's going to bed because it is 10:24, and I'll probably be up just another hour.
We got back to school night tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, anyways, she's enjoying the tripod and the attachment that Daddy
microphone
got us. Okay, so we will put the recipe up there for you, and we will...
And in the description, too.
In the description, and we will see you guys later. And we'll when I start canning the stuff tomorrow, we'll show you that process after it's all cooked down.
Bye. She's taking forever. Governor.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
I think Mommy saw me. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready, Governor?
No.
You just said you were ready. Ready?
No, don't re-record.
I think Mommy's reading her instructions. I think Mommy's reading her instructions. That's why I find that so funny. I think Mommy's trying to read what she's gonna tell you guys. What you looking at there? I'm going crazy because I'm tired. You ready?
Okay.
It's literally 10 o'clock.
Okay. I'm getting tired.
I am too. I'm going
You're
hysterical.
being silly too.